Okay, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Live from the Sword Coast podcast. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly dungeon master for this evening. With me tonight is another regular fixture of the Live from the Sword Coast podcast. It's Brent.
Hey.
This evening, we are continuing our series of podcasts where we are playing the Star Wars Edge of the Empire role-playing game. Now, for those listening at home, if we will be playing the adventure from the Edge of Empire beginner game, it's the box set designed for newbies to gaming or to this particular game. If you intend to play this at some point, I would suggest not listening to the podcast because it will likely ruin it for you. If you are not amongst those people, then please feel free to enjoy our first foray through this game. Now, I've run this once before, and Brent and I had a brief discussion beforehand about mechanics, but Brent will be learning the game really the same time you will, viewer, if you're not familiar with the game at all. So without further ado, I now turn your direction to a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It is a period of unrest and opportunity in the galaxy. The Galactic Empire struggles to maintain control in the midst of civil war. Meanwhile, scoundrels and smugglers, explorers and expatriates, and fringers of all types scramble for a living on the edge of galactic civilization. It's a hard life, but these renegades have more freedom and opportunity than any citizen of the core worlds. On the desert world of Tatooine, a few such renegades have run afoul of a local crime boss, Timo the Hutt. Trapped in a tiny spaceport of Mos Shuta, the renegades have no choice but to steal a starship and flee Timo's forces. Fortunately, a suitable starship has recently docked at the landing bay, a freighter called the Krayt Fang, captained by a Trandoshan slaver named Trex. As they flee through the sun-baked streets, the renegades duck into the local cantina to hide from their pursuers. So then we would pan down to an ochre-colored world, and we would have a wipe go by, and we would see the tiny town of Mos Shuta. Can you see that, Brent?
Yeah, coming in perfect.
So, what we see is a human who looks an awful lot like this, following or kind of shoveling or pushing along a droid that looks like this, along this sandy street and sand-covered street. The twin suns beating down on the pair. Brent, for those listening at home, do you want to do a quick intro of who you're playing tonight?
All right. I am playing two characters this evening. I am playing a human smuggler named Pash and a droid colonist named 41 Vex.
Well, what do people call 41 Vex? Is it 41 Vex, 41 Vex, Vex, 41?
Probably just Vex.
Vex, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I mentioned before, you see that there is something called strain on the character sheet as well.
Right.
Strain is kind of like stun is in a lot of other games, but strain is a floating mechanic. You'll see whenever you roll a threat on a skill check, you suffer strain. Whenever you roll advantage, if you don't use it for something else, you can use it to remove strain.
Okay.
You can also, normally each round, you get to make a maneuver and an action. You can gain or inflict two strain or incur two strain to take another maneuver. So you couldn't do, and that you'll see as we get into it. So the two of you are running along. The reason I mentioned the strain is because both of you have, as you've been running through the dusty streets, you've each suffered 2 strain. So you're both carrying 2 strain as Pash throws open the door to one of the cantina. The cantina. This is the map of Mos Shuta, by the way, Brent.
Okay, let me just switch screens here.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's Mos Shuta, and the cantina is right. Where's my finger? Right there.
Okay.
Sort of on the edge. Mos Shuta, incidentally, is built sort of on the top of this bluff. So there's a bluff, that's sort of a circular thing with these high cliffs going down each side, and the Timo, the hut, controls pretty much everything or he's got fingers in everything at least in Mos Shuta. You duck into the cantina, and then as Vex kind of keeps clanking by, you see Pasha's arm comes out and pulls him into the cantina. You step down a short flight of stairs into the cantina's shadowy common room. The cool air, a blessed relief from the scorching heat of Tatooine. The Deveronian bartender, Deveronians are those guys with the horns in their head? The Deveronian bartender pauses in his chores to stare at you, and his devilish features intimidating. On a stage on the far wall, a Twi'lek woman dances to recorded music. Private booths line the walls, and the cantina floor is scattered with tables and chairs. A few patrons turn in their seats to stare at you. The only other exits you can see from this room are what looks to be a storage closet in one corner and a doorway behind the Twi'lek dancer. The arched roof above is supported by thick, heavy struts. You only have a few moments to find a hiding place before Timo's thugs arrive. What do you do?
Scope the place out. Is there like a...
What you can do by scope the place out is you can try and make a perception check.
Okay.
That would be your action then.
Okay, I will scope the place out.
When I say you have moments, like you got one chance to do one thing. The Timo's Gamorrean thugs are right behind you right now.
Okay.
This is
so I'll look. Well, I guess if they're okay, in that case, I will look for a back exit. Like
as I said, the only thing you see is that there is a doorway behind the Twi'lek dancer who's on the far side of the room and who's dancing on a stage, and there is a door to what appears to be a storage closet in one corner.
Okay, we'll head for the door toward behind the Twi'lek dancer.
Okay, so as you go, the two of you go racing across the table. What do you call it? The table. Across the cantina towards the dancer. The dancer sees you coming, running towards her, and she says, "Hey! No one on the stage."
Just passing through.
Okay, so what you're going to need to do is use either charm if you're trying to, charm your way past her, or coerce, which is essentially intimidate in this game. Coerce is trying to, use your willpower to get someone to do what you want.
Okay. Pash will try and charm her.
Okay, so what you're going to do is the difficulty is a purple die. So it's one purple. It's an easy task. So you're going to roll a number of dice equal to the his charm, and then include that, and then go ahead and make your roll. I'm not including. I'm actually going to give you one black die because she really doesn't want you coming up on stage. It's really a dancers only thing. So
okay, so he's got for charm, he's got 2 green and a yellow.
That's right. So you have 2 green and a yellow, and then you add in 1 purple for the difficulty, and because of the circumstantial modifier, 1 black.
Okay. Okay, now I've got on the roller, I've got a bunch of symbols of dice, and then the third column or third row, I've got just 2 symbols.
Yeah, the symbols at the bottom is what you're on. The dice shows you what the result is. The bottom totals them. So what'd you get? Remember, the triangle-shaped thing is a failure. The explosion is a success. And then the little wings, the Jedi symbol there, that is a advantage. and the little Imperial circle symbol is a threat.
I got a failure and an advantage.
Okay, so so if she's like is having none of what you're doing, like no, you're not, absolutely not. You're not. You find another way around. So she sort of has positioned herself and is not letting you on the stage. But what I'll do is you've got sort of a basically, so she's, the way that she sort of sheltered you is you've got easy. You're right next to an empty table, which could, for instance, serve as cover if it was required. And was Vex just, or 4-1 Vex just following Pash? Or was he trying to hide somewhere as well?
He was coming up. Pash was in the lead, which is why he did the talking.
Okay. So then, sort of 4-1 Vex is just standing in. Does he want to try and do like?
Can he bypass them and get to the door?
No, you can't. She's, again, like, because it's really only, they're right on the heels from you, which you're going to find right now. So, moments after you, so as you're sort of arguing with this green-skinned Twi'lek, remember the Twi'leks are the girls with, or the race with the tentacles on the head?
Yeah. I've in the Old Republic, I got one who's a trooper character. But just
okay, cool. So the as you're sort of arguing with this woman, you hear what do you call it? The sound, or their sort of light comes into the cantina from the other side. You spin around, and what you see is a pair of pig-like Gamorreans carrying heavy, bone-breaking clubs step through the door. Temo's enforcers. They blink their beady little eyes. Oh, and if you want a reminder of Gamorreans look like, there's a Gamorrean.
Yeah, I remember them.
Yeah. So they step through, their beady little eyes in the squinting in the gloom, and then when Pash kind of turns around and Vex turns back as well, they clearly spot you because they squeal when they see you, and things are about to get violent. So, in this game, the way there's a bit of a neat twist to initiative. So you use it is a skill test to determine sort of the order for when the PCs and the NPCs act, but PCs get to decide who fills those slots.
Okay.
So in this case, because you failed your the test to get past her, what it means is the order will be one PC goes, then the NPCs, then one PC goes. But you get to decide what order. So if we had a larger group, it would be split. It would be organized that way. So you could, if there's someone who wants to do something that before someone else, they can do that.
Okay.
So, who wants to go first, Pash or Vex?
I'll have Pash to go first. I see him as more of that sort of quick drawing, like smuggler.
Okay. So, Pash has on his turn, he has an action and he has a maneuver. Your action can be to perform an attack, to use a skill, or to gain an additional maneuver. Your maneuvers can be things like to move, to aim, which gives you a blue to your next attack. You can take cover, which gives a black to the to the attacker's next attack. You can ready or stow a weapon. You can interact with your environment. You can engage or disengage, which means to like move from melee to out of melee. And you can stand up. Now, range in this game is abstracted. There is engaged, short, medium, long, extreme. It takes for engaged to short, from short to medium, it takes one move or one maneuver. To move from medium to long takes 2, long to extreme takes 2, and reverse. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Your weapons list what your ranges are, and that's the max range of the weapon. So, for instance, your blaster pistol has a medium range. And right now, this is all from one side of the room to the other side of the room is short range.
Okay, so if I understand this correctly, then as a maneuver,
Yep.
I will draw a weapon or my blaster pistol.
Yep, your blaster pistol's out. Because your advantage from last turn, Brent, I'm going to give I'm going to say you can, as an incidental action, knock a table over and take cover and add a black die to anyone attacking you until the start of the next turn.
Nice. Okay, so I'll do that with the empty table next to me.
Okay. So you knock the empty table over?
Okay, and you said if I want to spend 2 strain, then I could aim, right?
Yes, you could, yeah.
Okay, let's try that out. I want to see that. So I got 4 strain now.
Okay. So you have 4 strain. You whip that pistol out, and you've got yourself behind some cover. Go ahead and make your check. So your check is at short range. It is, I think.
It's range light, hey? So I think, right?
Say again?
It's the range light skill?
Yes, it is. Yep.
So 1 yellow and 2 green.
Yep. And then difficulty is 1 purple. And then you get to add a blue die because you're aim.
The more difficulty dies, the worse it is, right?
Yeah, because the difficulty die will give you fail or threat results, or a combination of those. Your green die give you successes and what do you call it? Success and advantage results.
Okay. So I got the explosion as a success, right?
Yes.
All right. So I got 1 explosion and 3 advantage.
Nice. Okay. So not only what that means is you hit and you did damage equal to your successes plus your damage. So it'll be your damage to your blast pistol is a 6. Now with actually this is cool. With 3 advantage, you can trigger a critical hit if you like.
Okay, so if I could get multiple explosions and that would do extra damage.
Yep.
And right, they would be plus 1 damage per success.
Yep.
And if I get 3 of the advantages, then it's a crit.
Yes, and here's what your advantage. You get to choose how you spend it. It's not necessarily a crit. You could use it. You can spend 1 advantage to recover 1 strain, and that can be done multiple times. You can use 1 strain to add a blue die to a friendly character's next roll against that character. You could spend 2 to perform. Well, you've already used. You can only ever do 2 maneuvers in a turn. You've already done 2, but if you hadn't, you could spend 2 advantage to do another maneuver. Okay. You could spend 3 to do any of the following: negate the target's defensive bonuses, like from cover or equipment or any skills. You could ignore penalizing environmental effects like inclement weather, 0 gravity, blah, blah, blah. You can have when dealing damage, have it disable a piece of the target's gear. You can gain +1 to melee or ranged defense until the start of the next turn. Or you can force a target to drop a weapon it's wielding. So there's a number of different things, and really it's limited by your kind of it's your imagination, I guess. Okay. So would you like to try and do one of those things, or do you want to go for a critical hit, or what?
What does a critical hit do?
So critical hit is what we do is then you roll percentage die, and I compare it to, and you add. There are things that will modify the critical hit up or down. Like for instance, how many critical hits the target has suffered so far, and there are weapons that are called vicious weapons that add, for each level of vicious, it adds +10 to the critical chance. So would you like to do a critical hit, or do you want to do one of those other things?
I will try a critical hit.
Cool. So roll percentile for me, please. You want to roll high.
65.
Ooh, okay. Oh, it's on my fucking. Hold on, my DM screen. Derp, derp, derp. Okay, 65. Slightly dazed. The target is disoriented until the end of the encounter. Disoriented means it adds a black die to everything it tries to do. So, and that black dies stack.
Okay.
So you, what do you call it? You hit this thing, and it kind of, it doesn't. Well, hold on. How much damage did you do?
7, I think.
7. Okay. Its soak is a 3, which means you do 4 points of damage to it, which almost kills it. So it hits this thing, and one of them squeals as the part of that bone cudgel it had explodes, and it kind of, blinks back some pain, and it seems a little, like it's seeing stars. Okay, so it is their turn now. So they're going to use maneuver to charge in. 1 Gamorrean is going for each of you. And melee is always a difficulty of 2. So their base die is 2 greens, 1 yellow, plus the 2 difficulty. And for the attack against Pash, 2 black die, 1 for your cover and 1 for. Hold on, does cover count for melee? I'm going to say it does because I can't. Yeah, I'm going to say it does because I can't remember right now. Okay, so the first one attacks you, Pash. And what do I get here? I got 1, 2, 3 successes, which are canceled by 1. Cancels that. So I have 2 successes and 2 threat. So actually, you know what? That'll be enough. Okay, so for certain kinds of there's different kinds of opponents in this, just like in games with minions. There are minions which do not suffer strain. There are rivals which are not quite as good as your character, but they suffer strain just the same way you do. And there are nemeses who are have the same rules you guys do. These guys are minions, which means they do not suffer strain. Because I rolled 2 threat on this, this guy will both hit you and then he will die. So you take 7 points of damage, but you can apply your make sure you apply your soak. This is for Pash.
Right. So soak. Yes. So 3 points. I'm down to 10.
Okay. So what happens is the actually it goes up. You don't reduce it down because once you hit that wound threshold, once you exceed your threshold, that's when you're unconscious.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Yeah, and also it makes it easy because when you're healing, you just reduce your wounds. Okay, so this thing comes in and it squeals and it swings this bone club at you. It hits you, but I guess you've been sort of like firing continuously as the thing comes up, and it manages to hit your hand in. So you fire, and it basically point blank in its chest right after it hit you, and it falls down, smoking and dead. The other one swings at 4-1 Vex. And I got no successes and no fail, threat, no advantage. So it swings at Vex. Vex sort of staggers back and bumps up against the stage. He leans back a bit, and that club swings right in front of him. Now it's Vex's turn. What's he doing?
Vex will use a maneuver to draw his weapon.
Okay.
Which is a light blaster.
Now, the light blaster is because he's using his light blaster in because it is a ranged light weapon. Difficulty when you're engaged is 1 plus a modifier based on how big your weapon is. Because it's ranged light, it's +1. So because he's engaged with him, the difficulty is 2 purple.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Because it's 1 plus whatever like if you're using a heavy weapon, it would be +2 difficulty. So wait, sorry, Brent, I'm doing that wrong. You're not rolling against 1 purple, you're rolling against 1 red. Okay. Difficulty stages dice up first and then it goes out. So it'll be whatever his ranged light is against 1 red.
So 2 green and 1 red?
What's his ranged light? Yes, 2 green and 1 red.
Okay. Any purple? Oh, no, because the okay, I get what you're saying, right.
Yeah.
The net is an explosion.
Nice. Any other symbols?
Not for the net. I guess they cancel each other out.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I guess the others canceled out.
Okay. So he gets 1. So what's the damage? Bless you.
Sorry. 5 plus 1, so 6.
Okay, so he manages to get a shot off on the Gamorrean despite him swinging that cudgel wildly. Top of the round now, it's Pash. What's he doing? So this Gamorrean is trying to. You've got 1 down. You're kind of shocked that it's that worked, and you look over and you see another one is squealing and swinging that club at Vex, who's kind of.
Okay, well I've already got my pistol out, so I'm gonna aim and shoot.
Sounds good. Give him shit. It is firing against a target engaged is you're at short range to this thing. You're not engaged. Just that if you roll a threat, it can hit your enemy or your ally.
I'll wing it. So
okay.
I get 2 green, 1 yellow,
and 1 purple, and 1
purple, and 1 blue.
That's right.
Okay, so I get 2 explosions and 2 advantages.
So 2 hits and nice. Okay, so your advantage, you can use each point of advantage can be used to recover 1 strain. It can give a blue to an allied character. So, for instance, you could give a blue to Vex's next attack.
Okay.
And remember, Vex could also aim. So blues can stack same way blacks do. Blue and black are just modifier die.
Okay. And that's 1 point each that I can do that with?
1 point each, yes. Or you can spend 2 to perform an immediate free maneuver. You only used 1 other maneuver. So if there's another one like moving or, interacting, I don't know, like any of the other maneuvers, you could do one of those as well.
Okay, well, what I'll do is I'll heal 1 point of strain to take myself down to 3.
Okay.
And I'll give Vex a blue. We'll say the blast caught the Gamorrean off guard, and he turns towards Vex, sort of distracted.
Nice.
Towards Pash, distracted.
Awesome. How many successes did you get?
And I got 2, so it does 8 damage total.
Okay, so actually you kill the Gamorrean. But there is a blue kicking around up there that Vex can use. So what happens is after hold on here. The Gamorreans are defeated. The silence that follows is broken. There's sort of a hushed silence in the cantina as you guys come to look around. What does Vex's voice sound like, incidentally? Because in Star Wars, droids can sound like, that meh, 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 or they can sound like, British aristocrats, or they can just do the little beeping sound, or they can have the robo voice.
Binary. He speaks like a normal English,
okay.
But like less tinny than like say C3PO.
Okay. Does he have an accent like C3PO? An Imperial accent?
Yeah, a bit of an Imperial accent, but a lower pitch.
Okay. I made this joke for Jeff's thing too. So he's had the bedside manner routine or subroutine installed.
Nice.
Okay. So what do you guys? Everyone sort of is stunned and looking at you guys, and there's smoke coming up from the corpses of the Gamorreans. What do you guys say?
I look at Pash looks at the Twi'lek and says, "Is that a back door?"
Okay, so she's too stunned to sort of react to it, but the silence that follows is broken by a slow, unamused applause as the crowd kind of applauds. You look out back behind you again. You see the Deveronian bartender approaches with and laughs a brittle little laugh. I guess you're the folks. I guess you're folks who need to get off planet in a hurry. The good news for you is that I happen to know that there's a freighter in Landing Bay Orek right now. The bad news is that its captain, Trex, is an associate of the Hutts and won't just let you on. The other bad news is that the reason I know he's still in the landing bay is that he has a broken hypermatter reactor igniter and won't be flying anywhere until he gets a new one installed. Though, I bet Vorn over at the junk shop has one. He points at the door. He's about 2 blocks away. Now get out of my cantina. What do you do?
Thanks.
Okay. Now, what you get to do, Brent,
is your aid is appreciated.
You can, because you are at the end of an encounter, you get to recover an amount of strain equal to your ranks in cool or your presence. So I think both you guys have a Pash has a presence of 3, and Vex has a presence of 2. You won't have any skills or any skills higher than that. So essentially, you guys have no strain now.
Okay.
So,
but I still keep my 3 wounds, yeah?
You keep your 3 wounds, that's right. Vex, you'll notice, though, has a med kit, which allows you to repair, well, it says allows you to repair or heal organic beings using the medicine skill. What you do is you make a medicine skill check, and however many hits or how many successes you get, that's how many points you heal.
All right.
The difficulty of that is because you are actually it's easy because you are less than half your wound threshold. So it'll be 1 purple. I was gonna take a piss. I'll be right back.
Okay, I'm just gonna grab another water.
Brent, you're not back, are you? You. Hey, okay, sorry about that. So, do you have me on the screen right now, or is it Dice Roller or what? Me, okay. So here is, this is Moschuta again. Here's where the cantina is. Oh, where's my finger? There it is. There's cantina, and there is Vorn's junk shop.
The number 14?
Yes. I imagine you're familiar with that place, being a, smuggler type. So, what is the plan? Remember that we sold Timo the Hutt's Gamorrean thugs are sort of, all over the place in Moschuta, searching for you guys right now. What's your plan?
Can I make my heal roll first?
Oh, yes, go ahead. Yeah. So it'll be just a medicine with a difficulty of 1, so 1 purple die.
Okay. 3 successes and 2 advantages.
Sweet. Advantage doesn't give you anything in the medicine thing, but it does heal you of 3 wounds, though.
Okay, which is what I had, so I'm down to 0.
Suggest something that you can. It's meant as a sort of a role-playing thing as well. I can't think of anything that would be advantageous with that. Like, you can't advantage. One of the cool things with the game is that your advantage can't be used for you. It has to be used on other people in the party. So it's a great way to sort of feed off of each other's role-playing stuff and also mechanically give bonuses to each other.
Okay.
If not, take the heal. That's
yeah, no, I think that's fine. I can't
see
miraculous boosting coming from it. So yeah, that works.
So 4-1 Vex gets to dig back into his medical protocols and affect some, a field dressing of Pash's wound. Pretty good. So how are you getting from the cantina, which this Deveronian wants you to leave post-haste, to Vorn's junk shop?
All right. Are we wearing anything with hoods or something that we can use to disguise ourselves? So what about the Gamorreans? Did they have cloaks or?
No, not in Tatooine heat. They've got. Well, I guess some people wear robes. No, they don't in any event.
All right. Out near in between the cantina, is there anything where a clothing shop where we could pick up the desert robes that you see some people wearing?
Going there, well, it's not that they're waiting for you at the junk shop. It's going anywhere else, runs the risk of being spotted.
Yeah, no, I realize that's why I'm trying to look for something that we can use as disguises or something like that.
I can think of something that is relatively close, but I'm not telling you. What do you think? I'm not waiting for like you could just try. You're gonna have to make a decision because more Gamorreans may come in, or someone here may decide that they can make a quick buck from Timo by ratting out that you're in here.
Okay, well, we quickly move to the door and head over. As is there any like side streets or anything?
Yeah, well, I mean, between here and there, you can try and do that. I guess what I'm. Are you thinking like stealth is the better option, or do you think that speed is the better option?
Probably stealth right now. Well, hang on. No, they just came in. No, stealth.
Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do is make stealth checks for the two guys. What you can choose to do is go with someone who's better. Like Pash has a stealth of 3, so it's 3 green die, and it'll be average difficulty, so it's 2 purple.
Okay.
And because you said you're going to try and like as best you can stick to the back streets, I'll give you a boost on it too, so you get a blue die. And then the reason sorry, go ahead.
So 2 purple, 3 green, and 1 blue.
That's right. And the reason I'm letting him go first is because if he gets advantage, you could try and we could role play it as him helping Vex with his shitty roll.
Okay, so he got 1 success and 1 advantage.
Okay, so he you maybe like run out, and you can hear the squealing of 2 Gamorrean guards, kind of talking to each other in their guttural language, and you look and you kind of like gesture for Vex to hold on. The 2 of them stalk by, and then you're like, come on. And I'll give you a boost to Vex as well. So Vex gets 2 boost die. So his 2 greens for his skill, 2 purples for the difficulty, and 2 blue for sticking to the back alleys and from Pash's last roll.
Okay.
I won't explain every die roll. I just wanted to give you an idea of where all those numbers came from, or the dice came from.
Okay, so he's got 2 successes and 2 advantages.
Nice. Okay, so you guys are easily able to wind your way through the maybe 1 block worth of streets, completely avoiding the surly and frustrated Gamorrean guards. The junk shop is immediately obvious by the scrapyard adjoining the low, poor stone building. As you step inside, you see a hunched old human male lurking behind a low counter covered with disassembled droid and machine parts. The man glances up at you and then turns to a garbage can-sized R5 droid standing at his side. He kicks the droid and shrieks, "You're supposed to tell me when I have customers, you bucket of bolts! Go outside and finish stripping that speeder bike wreck." The droid trundles off with a surly woo, and the man turns to you. "Welcome, customers. As you can see," he points to the racks and shelves and enormous buckets full of scrap metal and parts, "I have anything you could want for the right price." Now, what would you like to do? The piece that is malfunctioning from Trex's ship, from the Crate Fang, is a hypermatter reactor igniter.
I will ask for a hypermatter reactor.
No, I only have 1, and it's already promised to Captain Trex of the Crate Fang. Why don't you make a streetwise check for me for actually you can make for both guys if you like.
Okay.
Vex would have overheard people talking.
Okay, hang on. I'm just looking to see who has a higher pass.
You make both. Difficulty you'll be average 2, please. So 2 purple.
Okay, so I'll make Pasha's first. He's got 3. So 3 green and 2 purple. One success and 2 advantage.
Sweet. Holy shit. Okay, so I'm going to interpret the advantage as a bit of like, oh boy. So Trex is a Trandoshan bounty hunter who stops over at Mos Shuta a few times a year. His ship, the Crate Fang, is a beat-up old YT 1300 light freighter. Millennium Falcon.
Right where we were talking about before, who I was told from the bartender, same ship the bartender mentioned.
That's right. Yep.
Okay.
Turns out, so it's a fine ship if you can keep her running. But what you know is that this trend. You remember the Trandoshans are those reptile guys, right? Like
Right.
Bounty Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Trex is a Trandoshan bounty hunter who you've met, like you actually have met him before. And with 2 advantage, you can tell me what the nature of that relationship is. It's not going to be like best friends, but it will be either he has a positive relationship with you or a negative relationship with you.
Positive. Is he a bounty hunter or a slaver?
He's a bounty hunter.
Okay, so positive working relationship.
Okay, so you know him, and yeah. So what that'll translate to is your first encounter with him. If you encounter him, will be you'll get a +1. Sorry, first 2 things plus a boost.
Okay, and this is the dude whose ship I want to steal.
That's correct. Okay, so what Vorn tells you, or the old guy told you, is that he's only got the 1 hypermatter reactor igniter, and it's promised to Captain Trex. What do you do?
What would we need to do to have that unpromised?
He says, "Well, I don't know if I could break a promise like that. I mean, that would be a rather expensive promise to break." So what you could do, Brent, is here's how contested, like I mentioned earlier, contested roles make. Vorn has a negotiate of 2 green and 1 yellow. So what that means is if you choose to negotiate with him, those become 2 purple, 1 red, and you roll against those. Now you can get boosts or what do you call it? Boosts or drawbacks like blue and black die with other modifications, like if the person just happens to be in a shitty mood or whatever, or if you do a good bit of role playing, you get that extra blue die. But that's how the contested ones work. So if you want to try and negotiate with him, that's the difficulty. 2 purple, 1 red.
Okay, so it'd be my 3 green versus his 2 purple, 1 red.
That's right. Yeah. They wrap up contested rolls into 1 roll, and they put it in the hands of the player.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, and I just get disadvantages.
That's right. So that, like, if you're trying to sneak past someone, rather than me roll stealth and you roll stealth and me roll perception, you would just include that in your dice roll. That would be the difficulty.
Oh, okay.
Along with modifiers, like if you're trying to sneak at night, let's say it's dead of night, I give you a 3 boost plus your whatever your skill is.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, sure. You know what? I'll try negotiating, and then my fallback plan, if it doesn't work out, I can always just steal it from the bounty hunter once he gets it.
Okay. Well, that's assuming you've got enough time to wait for him to come and pick up the part.
Right. Okay, so let's try and negotiate.
Okay. So go ahead. What do you say?
Well, come on. You know, there's got to be the right deal that we can make here. There's everything, a promise is worth, everything is worth something.
I don't know. That Trandoshan is a pretty mean reptile when he doesn't get his way. It'd have to be, might have to close early, which means lost business.
Well, he is a friend. You can just let him know I'm born. I got to it a little bit before. He won't be too mad knowing it's me.
Okay, I'll give you a boost for that, Brent. So go ahead and make your dice roll, and let's see how it turns out.
All right. Two successes, but two negative things.
Two threats.
Two threats.
Okay, now were they threats or did they look like this?
Hold on, let me pop you back up on the
Sure.
screen. No, the other ones, the flower sort of.
Okay, so there are two other symbols we haven't talked about. There's this one on the red die.
Okay.
And there is this one on the yellow die. This one is a triumph. That means something really awesome happens. It counts as a success plus something really great happens regardless of whatever else results in it. The other one is despair. That is the converse of that. Even if something good it counts as failure plus something shitty happens. That's the kind of thing like your blaster runs out of shots or something similarly negative happens.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, that's he says, all right, then I'll let you have it for 600 credits. That is actually, is a pretty good deal. Between you and Vex, you have 800 credits.
Okay. Well, we're pretty desperate, so we'll go for it.
Okay. So you get that part. It says, is there anything else I can help you with? Now, I'm just going to let you a little, this is not in the pre-written adventure, but this is something I find particularly, well, one of the fucking amazing things about the game. The game has really incredible rules for customizing equipment. So weapons, armor, vehicles can all be customized really easily and quite extensively. For this one, all I'm going to do is you can pick one of the following. For each of your blasters, excuse me, you can pick a telescopic sight, which reduces the difficulty of ranged combat at long and extreme by 1.
Okay.
You can have a, where is it here? Sorry, I'm trying to find the. You know what? I think they've added in the course of, like, the games came out at different times, and they've added things. I was reading something else. There's a custom grip that you can get that gives a pretty sweet bonus as well.
There are like 3 separate rule sets, each adding more rules.
Well, here's the neat thing: is that the underlying rules are the same, and I'll show you how the character classes are set up after. Some of them there's some duplication, but really they've done a really great job of not duplicating a lot of species. Careers, the careers are different in each of them. The talent trees are mostly different in all of them, except for things where it wouldn't make sense. Like pilot is pilot, right? Yeah, they've tried to avoid duplicating starships and vehicle and enemies, or adversaries, I should say, and vehicles. So they've done a nice job of sort of like, there are some duplicates across the thing, but for the most part, they've done a good job of that. If you have all of them, it does help expand the world even further. So I may have fucking imagined it. unless it's Enforcing Destiny. I may have imagined it. Which would not be the first time. Sorry, yeah, I think I've clearly imagined it. So what you can get is for, what's his name? So there's that telescopic thing. You could have a shortened barrel, which reduces the difficulty of checks made to conceal the weapon, but it reduces the range by 1 band. So medium would become short and so forth. You could get a spread barrel, which grants the weapon a quality of blast 4, which means you spend, excuse me, 2 advantage to activate it, and then blam, you hit. It's like a shot, turning your thing into a shotgun essentially. But it reduces the range by 1 band, so you can hit more than 1 target essentially. Or a filed front sight, which gives you the innate talent of quick draw. You can get out the weapon with an incidental action. So filed front sight, which is get it out faster, but it increases the difficulty of combat checks of anything past short range. You can get the shortened barrel, which makes it easier to hide, the spread barrel, which turns it out, or the telescopic optical sight.
The spread barrel, can you turn that on and off?
Yep. No, you can't. That's either it's got that ability or it doesn't.
Okay, so it would be automatically like the shotgun.
That's right. I mean, you could honestly say you have none of them. There are more, more options. I'm just going on the top of my head of which ones look kind of neat.
For Pash, I'll go with filed front sight for the quick draw.
Okay, sweet. So you got quick draw. So it means at medium range, it's only medium anyway. Medium range difficulty is increased by 1. Now, what you can do too is, so that's the basic thing, right? What you then get is there are other modification options that you can choose as you basically invest more money into and more mechanics checks to try and like customize it.
Okay.
So there's sort of like a basic thing, and then you can continue to tinker away with it to modify the things. Each item has a certain amount of hard points that tells you how many modifications you can fix into it. Like for instance, lightsabers. It's depending on what your crystal is that you have in it, that has a effect on what your lightsaber's stats are. And what about for Vex's rifle?
He's got a light pistol.
Or sorry, no, he's got a light blaster. Not a light pistol.
Oh.
Yeah. Pash has the blaster pistol. Vex has got a light blaster.
Okay. But okay. So, okay, and the okay, same range.
Yeah.
Scope for him, I guess.
Scope. Okay, cool. So his what that means is you reduce the difficulty of ranged combat checks by 1. So that's pretty handy. Essentially your long range becomes 2 purple. Your extreme becomes 3 purple. Okay, so you've got the hypermatter reactor igniter. What would you like to do now?
We've got to make it to the ship.
Oh, one more thing you need to concern yourself with. And that would be the, what do you call it? The, what are they called? What are they called? Sorry.
Dallas?
No, it is the, I think it's called the Spaceport locks. Oh, here. Docking clamps. Sorry. There's docking clamps on the Crate Fang right now. It has to pay its fees, and then it can, the docking clamps can come off. So why don't you make another streetwise check for me, please? Difficulty 2.
Yeah, all right.
I'm just going to get more water while you're doing that. I can still hear you, though.
Yeah.
How'd you do?
2 successes and a bad thing.
And okay. And the threat. So, who was that? Is that Pash?
Yeah, he's got the highest skill.
Pash has got 1 strain. What happens? What I'm going to interpret that as is Vash says, or Vosh rather says, "Oh, now you got that. All you got to do is get Overseer Bryn to take the docking clamps off, and Trex will be ready to go." And there's a knot in your stomach that kind of hits, and Vex turns to Pash and says, "Pash, are you not well? You've lost all color to your face." And you realize, you actually know. So the success is you do know who's in there. It's Overseer Bryn, but you and her had a dalliance and it didn't end well. She kind of loathes you. So in order to get the docking clamps off, you need to go to command and control and somehow either convince her to release them or to sneak in there and somehow, or blast your way in there and release the docking clamps in the Crate Fang. This, incidentally, is what Overseer Bryn looks like.
Nice.
So, Pash, what are you going to
do? Pash will ask Vex if he thinks he can override the controls if they get close, or actually first ask if he can override them from the ship itself.
You cannot. No, you need to access the command and control computer. If you had access to the computers, one of you could use computers to slice the basically the hard drive or the the server, and force it to release the docking clamps.
Okay.
Or you can convince her to do it. Only last time she saw you, there was something to the effect of like an implied or explicit threat.
So disabling it is.
Okay. So you've been in Mostruta more than enough to know that there are guards, droid guards stationed at command and control. Usually 2 outside and 2 inside. 2 at the door leading in and 2 inside as well. In addition to the support staff that are sort of directing traffic coming in. Well, first off, okay, and
can I use like deceit along with some props to make us look like maintenance workers or couriers, or
to access the command and control?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can try and gain access to command and control. Oh, I see what you mean. Like you're gonna try and sneak in there.
Yeah, under false pretext.
Okay. Where are you going to get the disguise?
On our way there, we'll pick up a couple things at a small like store, just like some. Or you know what? Hell, we could probably just pick up some extra tools we're in the shop right now. We're in.
Sure.
Just give us a look at mechanics.
Sure, that works for me. Okay, so the two of you get your all your stuff together. The spaceport control facility is a low, squat building clinging to the edge of the Mashuta Bluff. The front entrance stands open, but a pair of spaceport security guards stand at attention. Security guards instead look like that. Whoopsies. Like that.
Hang on, I'm pulling up the camera. All right.
Okay. They stand at attention. If you're going to get off Tatooine, you need to disable the docking clamps holding the crate fang in its landing bay. You can only do that inside the spaceport control. You have to either get past these guards somehow or find another way. That's the shitty pre-made, well, not shitty, but that's the pre-written text. If you're going to use a deceit, what I'm going to do is I'll give you a boost because that's a really good plan. And I'm going to give you another boost because your plan sounds plausible. It sounds like something reasonable that you would be trying to do. So what I'll do is I'll get one of your guys can make the deceit roll against the droid's discipline, which is a 1 red.
Okay, so deceit, Pash is good at that. He's got 1 yellow and 2 green.
Okay. And then blue, because your boosts.
2 boosts, 2 green, 1 yellow, and 1 red, right?
That's right, yeah.
Okay, and oh, nice. I did super awesome.
Yeah, how'd you do?
3 successes and 3 boosts.
Holy shit! 3 advantage?
Yeah, thank you.
That's fucking awesome.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, that's really cool. Let me keep trying. I wonder what other successes I could get. Huh. I was just playing around with the rolls, so I rolled it a couple more times just to see what happened.
Yeah.
I think it's because of all the good stuff I'm rolling. The most interesting though that I can't remember what the second one was, but when I re-rolled it again, I got 1 success, 1, 2, 3, 6 advantages, and a yellow star thing.
Oh, and a triumph.
And a triumph. That would have been like
amazing. Okay, but with 3, what I'm going to say is that your disguise is so convincing that Bryn's not even going to have a chance to see you. You guys come, walk up to the droids, and they say, what do you call it? They're like, also, hold up. What are you? So, what's your purpose?
Maintenance. We're here to repair the whatever. I'll make up some technical term for, like something technical.
He kind of cocks his droid head to the side and says, "Are you here to service the computers?"
Yes, we are.
Because that one's been causing us all sorts of problems. Hey, it took you so long to get here.
It's been a busy day.
Okay, so basically, you're going to be okay. You walk into the. They say, "Well, go on." You step through the doorway into the large chamber, crowded with computer equipment and centered around a large hollow display showing a plot of local aerospace. Standing in front of the display, with her arms folded behind her back, is a human woman who you recognize as Bryn. It says something about Passion. He can recognize her from behind. She appears to be in charge, and as you watch, she speaks into a headset in a formal, commanding tone. Imperial Shuttle Lambda 11238, this is Overseer Bryn with Spaceport Control. You are cleared for landing. Welcome to Mashuta. A half-dozen technicians of different species work at consoles, and 2 security droids stand near the doorway. Your attention is pulled to the floor-to-ceiling transparent steel windows against the far wall, which look out over the desert of Tatooine, where an Imperial shuttle is coming in for a landing. So you sort of see that, and Britain's attention is completely elsewhere. You are free to go and access one of the terminals, which seems to have no one sitting at it anyway.
Okay, so I'll go with Vex.
Okay.
Vex will go over, and yeah, he'll take the lead on this part.
Okay. What you guys can do is there is a maneuver that's to assist, and basically what you do is you boost. You do nothing. You just help them. So because you're helping him work on it, you can boost Vex's computer check.
Okay.
Now it is a average computer check to slice this computer, so it'll be 2 purple. And other than the boost from from Pash's help, there's no other modifiers.
Okay, so just saying you're helping gives you a boost if you have the other guy's got a skill in it?
That's right, yep. In this case, yeah.
Okay. So for computers, I got 4 of the green. So
Yeah, 4 green. Nice.
And what kind of difficulty was it?
2, it's average, so 2 purple.
Three successes.
Nice, awesome. So you, what do you call it? Vex goes and kind of like interfaces with the computer. There's a bit of like buzzing and beeping and whatnot. And you can see on the screen those antiquated kind of like weird like future holograms that show up in Star Trek or Star Wars stuff. Shows up, and you can see the picture of the crate dragon, which again looks like the Millennium Falcon. It goes there, and there is some red symbols that are sort of clamping around it, and they gonna blip, 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 flash, and then they go poof, green, and it says in interlac deactivated.
Nice.
So
Okay.
okay.
From experience, why we're at the terminal, from experience, if we start flying away, are they going to try and like do something to stop us, or will it, once the clamps are good, they won't take notice?
Once the clamps are good, there's not really much they can do. This is a kind of a podunk, calling it a city is generous, a podunk town in the middle of a podunk planet. This is not trying to take off from Coruscant's main spaceport. There aren't like anti-aircraft cannons or stuff like that. At best, what they might do is register a complaint with Imperial authorities if they choose to. But yeah, there's not like they're gonna send other craft up to to shoot you down or anything like that.
Okay, so I was just thinking, we might disable something else while we're at the terminal, but if that's not necessary or there's nothing really to do, then
okay. Actually, that's interesting. You know what? How does Pash feel about the Empire? I know he washed out of Imperial flight school, but
he's got what era are we in anyway?
Rebellion era. This is after A New Hope.
He's got vague sympathies towards the rebellion and a little bit of animosity towards the Imperials. He'll never admit that he's a flight school dropout. That never happened.
Okay, so here's what you could do is that Lambda class shuttle is landing. What you could do is make it so that their docking clamps can't come off.
Yeah, okay. That sounds like fun.
Okay, so why don't you...
That's again a great idea.
Okay, so go ahead and make this basically the identical roll.
All right. And 3 successes again.
Nice. So they land, and there's it goes into red, and then it goes black. So basically you've overridden it, so they're... if they decided to go pursue in the shuttle, they ain't going anywhere.
Okay. Can I do one other little thing?
Sure.
I wonder, leave overseer what? Bryn. I want you to leave Bryn in a timed email.
A hollow message.
Yeah, a little hollow message. It'll pop up in an hour. An hour's time. How long do we know how long it would take to fix it and put in the part?
That is a matter of minutes. It's Vex thinks he can get it, assuming there's nothing else wrong, then he could probably get it in the span of, I think, like a minute or so. And then it's just a matter of waiting for the what do you call it? For the thing to warm up, for the part or the engine to warm up in order to then jump to hyperspace. But in that time, you need to sort of leave the atmosphere and leave the gravity well of the planet anyway.
Okay. Sounds awesome. So I'll set a holo message to go up on half an hour to say I'm sorry that things didn't work out, and I know she misses me, and maybe I'll see her again in the future.
That's awesome. Awesome. Okay, so both of those things, you would be getting XP bonuses at the end of the session for them because you've been playing to motivation and to motivations and your backstory.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Speaking of experience, so now you guys kind of finish up what you're doing. With all those successes, I'm not going to bother making you make another stealth check or anything like that. You get your stuff up, and do you kind of like spare any kind of like cheeky last look towards Bryn, or do you try and like interact with her in your disguise, or are you just gone?
No, he's not going to be that cheeky. I think they've sort of been intimate enough that the disguise will not be good enough to hide him.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you leave, and you know where that the landing facility is. The hangar is on the other side of town. So we're gonna take a very brief pause just to talk about two different things.
Yeah.
For one thing, now I mentioned that there is the force dice, right? The white dice.
Right.
What I'd like you to do is roll 2 of those, please.
Okay.
They will come up with either a white circle or a black circle.
One white and one black.
Okay. Okay. So what this is this is the destiny pool. Normally, when we play, what you would do is you'd roll for every player. They get to roll 1 force dice. What the results do is they create the number of number of points in the destiny pool. We've got 1 light and 1 black. Right now, so it's 1 light side point, 1 dark side point. Players share the pool, and players can use light side points to boost a check. So when you boost check, you bump it up like any green die. One green die, if there's a green die, goes to a yellow. If it's all yellows, you get another green die.
Okay.
You can also use it to downgrade difficulty. No, sorry, that's not right. That's what you do is you can spend it to make it bigger. Now, when you spend it, what happens is that light side point becomes a dark side point. And then I can use it to make a difficulty harder. So that's how the points go back and forth. So I can make the difficulty. I can say, okay, well, here's what the difficulty of it is, and I'm going to spend a dark side point to make that more challenging. That dark side point becomes the light side point, which then you can later use to boost one of your skill rolls. And it goes back and forth like that.
Okay.
Okay. Now, so that's you. There's 1 light side point, 1 dark side point right now. Experience points. You just gained 10 experience points. So on the 3rd and 4th page of those PDFs, you can see what you can spend that on. Which one do you want to do first?
I will do. Hang on here. Let's do Pash, I guess.
Okay. So Pash, he has a couple options there for 10 points. I'll give you 15 because that way you can either get all 3 5s or one of the 10s and one of the 5s. Your choices are: you can raise your deceit skill by 1. You can raise your train in your skullduggery skill. Skullduggery is essentially anything that would involve like lock picking or like any kind of roguish stuff to break into places or whatever, or to pawn things or whatever, quick pickpocket stuff like that. You can gain a quick draw talent. That gives you once per round you can draw or holster a weapon without spending an action. Now your you got that modification to your pistol, so that's kind of giving you that already. But yeah, or skilled jockey. Now, this is a cool one because when you make a piloting check, every vehicle has a handling rating. The handling rating, if it's positive, gives you blue dice to the pool. If it's black, if it's a negative modifier, it gives you a black die to your pool. What skilled jockey does is it allows you to ignore one black die. You take it out. So you got 15 points to spend. How do you want to spend those?
Okay, let me take a look here. Okay, so I will go. I guess I can go with quick draw, skilled jockey, and skullduggery.
Yep.
Okay, I'll do those three.
Okay. The skullduggery, nice. Okay. And then for Vex, your options are raise your negotiation skill, raise your ranged light skill, gain the grit talent, which increases your strain threshold from 11 to 12, or surgeon talent, which on a successful medical check or medicine check, you heal the target heals one additional wound.
I will go with ranged light and surgeon.
Okay, nice. Okay, so what is the plan now to get from the spaceport control to the hangar? Is pretty much it's a bit of a winding route. Spaceport control is 17. The hangar is 24 over here, so you can kind of wind your way through here. How do you want to? Actually, I'm not going to really give you the option, unfortunately, because it's. I'm going to use. You know what? Yeah, I'll use a dark side point for that. So there are 2 light side points in the Destiny pool right now. Okay, so the 2 of you leave still in your disguises, and you're making your way towards the hangar, hangar Orek.
We probably going in our disguise as mechanics because it's a bit of a distance, so sprinting is probably out. But
you're still trying to be inconspicuous.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're making your way along through the kind of crowded streets of Moshuta. You can kind of picture the scenes, the exterior scenes in Mos Eisley. That's sort of the motley. There are Jawas walking by. There are human moisture farmers who are in town. There's some of the scum that work for Timo, and there are of course Gamorreans who are out looking around trying to find you guys. Suddenly, the crowds thronging the streets of the settlement part, and you see a chilling sight. 3 soldiers in the white armor of the Empire's elite. Stormtroopers. As you see them, you realize the lead trooper is pointing right at you. You hear, and this is Pash, you hear his voice break through the crowd, sounding mechanical through his armor's speakers. "There they are," he says. "Get them!" As you turn to escape, you see a second group of 3 stormtroopers approaching down a side street. This could get tricky. So, now, as I mentioned before, the way that we roll initiative is you roll your normally you roll a skill. Now, it is if you are if you're aware that that combat is going to happen, it is a cool check. If you are not aware, if it's a surprise, you use vigilance. In this case, I'm going to say it's cool because as soon as you see them, oh, sorry, no, I'm going to use vigilance. So, can you please make vigilance checks? And this is what's called a simple check, which means you have no purple die. You just see how many successes you get. Ties and successes are determined by advantage or threat. And if there's still ties there, then heroes go first. Okay.
I'm just looking for vigilance on the two guys. Do I just roll for one or for both?
Both of your guys, yeah, because you're going to determine. Remember last time there was one PC, one NPC, one PC?
Right.
If you guys both beat the Stormtroopers, you guys get to go before. Then it's 2 PCs, then the NPCs. Here's another little bit of mechanical neatness. Remember how I said that dice pool are calculated on skill, like skill and your ability, and then you take the higher as number of dice and the lower as your thing?
Right.
The way minions work in this is they can work as groups, like, for instance, Stormtroopers. They don't have skills. What they have is a number of, so you have a dice pool equal to their ability, and they have a number of skills equal to how many there are. So when you see a group of Stormtroopers, they have, like, let's say this one, in this case, they're into 2 groups of 3. That means they have an effective skill of 3. But for each one you drop, they get less effective. And Stormtroopers are basically, all minions have a shared kind of wound threshold. So if you blast down, like let's say you did 10 points of damage and their wound threshold's only 5, you take down 2 Stormtroopers.
Okay.
Okay? So I'm going to roll their initiative here. So it's a vigilance check. I got 2 successes for the Stormtroopers.
Okay. Pash gets 1 success.
Okay.
And Vex gets an advantage.
And so he failed?
Yeah, no success.
Okay. So that'll be NPC, PC, PC then, because the Stormtroopers are going first. Advantage is only used as a tiebreaker in advantage of the threat is only used as a tiebreaker in initiative. So unfortunately, these guys are like, what? Why is there, yeah. So why the hell are the Stormtroopers here, and why are they looking for you? So the first one, first group brings their blaster pistols up, or blaster rifles up, I should say. They are at, I'm going to say long. No, I'm going to say. Excuse me, they're at medium range right now. So their difficulty is 2 purple. I get fail 1. 2 successes and a threat. Okay, so the first group is opening fire on Pash. There's red blaster bolts that are like blazing past you, and you get tagged by 1. You take 10 points of damage.
Okay, including what modified by my armor?
No, I'm just going to give you the number before, so then subtract your soak.
Okay. Okay.
And then the second group fires on 4-1 Vex. They got a threat. So Brent, I'm going to give you a boost to your next attack against them. They're sort of right, like at the time they had sort of cover. The crowd went and kind of scattered. So it's 3 Stormtroopers in, bright white armor standing wide in the open. I got 3 advantages. I got, oh god, the other one got 1 success. So it is 9 points of damage to Vex.
Okay, so they're both at they both taken 6 wounds.
Yeah. So it is now one of the PCs. You got both PCs. Who's going first?
Okay. Is there anywhere we can flee?
They've sort of got you from where you are. There's like one on one side. You can run back where you came, but you can't really, unless you get these 3 stormtroopers ahead of you out of the way. They're sort of like straight ahead. There's the 3 stormtroopers who are shooting at you. Back down sort of like a tangential alley, or kind of like one of another roadway that sort of meets up with where you guys are. There are 3 more who are firing at you, and then they're sort of as back where you came towards the spaceport that's wide open. And there's an assortment of what do you call it? Of buildings, poor stone buildings that are around you. What are you gonna do?
Okay, so the 2 streets are blocked by 2 groups of stormtroopers.
Yeah, or back where you came towards the spaceport.
Okay, Vex will go first.
You remember one thing I want to point out, Brent, is you see that Vex has stun grenades, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going for already.
Oh, nice. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so maneuver to draw a grenade.
I should already know. I should know you fucking well enough that you already know every single item of equipment this guy's got. So.
Yeah, I saw that already. I'm like, ooh, stun grenades.
Okay, so sorry, what you were saying?
So Vex will use an action to draw a stun grenade.
Okay.
And maneuver, and then an action to throw it.
Okay. The range of the stun grenades are short, though, so you would have to spend another maneuver to go from medium to medium to short range.
Okay, so I will do I'll take 2 points of strain.
Okay.
And close the distance.
Yeah. And go ahead and it's a ranged light attack. And if you get 2 advantage, that's where you can trigger the blast, and it hits everyone in the range. Is he attacking the stormtroopers ahead of you, or the stormtroopers behind-ish?
I guess the head. That's towards the spaceport, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. And if I spend a force point, how does that work?
You can't spend force points. Oh yes. Ignore me. You can spend a force point. What it does is it upgrades your dice pool. So like his let's see, his range light is 1 yellow, 1 green right now. If you spend a force point, it'll be 2 yellows. And just so you know, the yellows, the reason that they're better, yellows have better results on them.
Okay. Well, I'm going for a good result, and hopefully we can blow past them without having to like fight them off. So I will go for the 2. I'll spend one of our 2 force points to upgrade to a yellow.
Okay, so I got a dark side point now. And you also have that blue boost because of where they position themselves. So it is short range, which means it's 1 purple for difficulty.
Okay. So 1 purple, 2 yellow, and 1 blue.
That's right.
Okay. Nice. I got 1 success, 1 advantage, and 1 triumph.
Oh, amazing. Okay. So the triumph, let's see here. So what you can do is upgrade the difficulty of the targeted character's next check, but I'm going to tell you right now, with that much advantage and a triumph, they're all stunned, because stun damage is taken as strain. These guys are minions, so they don't take strain. Yeah, so that's enough to short them out. You can also upgrade any allied character's next check. And remember, upgrade means you get, like, just as if you're spending a force point. Or you can do something vital, such as shooting the controls to the nearby blast door to seal them shut. You know what I'm going to do? Is I'm going to say that the stun grenade, when it went off, and that blue kind of thing went out, it shorted the comms. So the other group of whatever they're listening in on, it was like filled with a screeching sound as the thing malfunctioned. So that whole other thing is distracted. You guys may be able to get lost in the crowd. That sound okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. So then what I'll need from you is, unless Pash wants to try and attack those guys, I'm going to need you guys to make a stealth check.
Ash is good with a blaster pistol, and
Yep.
you've got quick draw. Is there anything around them you could shoot that would add to the distraction?
With a Triumph, sure. What are you thinking?
Well, if there was a big animal, he could shoot something, in the butt or the foot, or if there was something flammable.
I love the big animal. That sounds awesome. So you look around, and there is one of those big, like dinosaur-looking things that sort of is sitting with a bunch of shit on its back, and kind of like a little a hovel that some small creature, like maybe a Jawa or an Ugnaught, lives in. You look over and bam, you can hit that thing, and it'll stampede right in the way of the stormtroopers behind you.
Okay, awesome.
So bam, you do that, and they go stammering off. So I'm not even going to make you make a check now. You can easily make your way to towards the hangar.
Okay.
Okay. So you guys go racing down. Are seeing cuts to the hangar itself. A large pour stone hangar looms before you. An enormous letter OREC stenciled into the building's side. As you approach, you can see through the open hangar doors into the cavernous interior, where a rusty-looking light freighter rests with its loading ramp deployed. All you have to do is get to that ship, and you can leave Tatooine. 2 equally rusty security droids stand outside the entrance. If you want that ship, first you'll have to get by them. What are you going to do?
Maintenance.
Okay, give it a try. Go ahead. I'll let you get 1 boost this time with it. So it would be their discipline is the same as the other one, so it's 1 red.
Okay.
And you know what? I'm going to spend a dark side point and make it 1 red, 1 purple.
Okay, so 1 red, 1 purple, and I've got 2 green and 1 yellow, right?
Yeah. And you got now. It's back to being 2 light side points.
Okay. So could I try and nullify your roll then by spending a light side point on my own?
No. What you would do is you would raise your skill. You could.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't nullify mine. We just are both affecting the dice pool.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. This seems like my last challenge to get out of here. So we got 2. So that would convert one of my greens to a yellow, right?
That's right. Yep. So I got a dark side point back now.
Yellow, 1 red, and 1 purple.
Yep. And we can each only spend 1 force point on a roll. So that prevents the constant, one-upmanship. That's awesome, though. That's really cool.
All right. Well, let's see what happens here. I hit the button. It's flashing. Haha, I win. 2 successes and a advantage.
Awesome. Okay, so what do you say as you go in? Maintenance again?
Yeah. Oh, that's neat. The roll is pretty cool. I generated 2 threat, 2 successes and 3. I guess stuff canceled each other. Oh yeah, 3 6. I generated 2 what's it called? 2 of the negative, but 3 of the positive.
Nice.
I see. And so that's how I get. Okay.
Cool. Okay. So you come walk up to the droids, and you kind of say, maintenance. They say, carry on. You what do you call it? You're just gonna walk into the up the ramp into the freighter.
Yes.
Okay. As you're what do you call it? Yeah. So you go walking up the as you're make your way to the ramp or the dock leading up, you hear one of the droids, like you're just about to walk into the ship, say, "Oh, and if you have any questions, the captain is on board."
Shit.
So what are you gonna do?
We gotta subdue the captain.
Okay.
Oh, maybe we can use the deceit again. Can Vex, call use the comms to make that no, I'll use it. Oh, hey, to one of the droids. Pash goes to one of the droids. Call the captain and tell him he needs to go pay for this.
Nice. Okay, so make a deceit roll against the what do you call it? Against their discipline of 1 red. I'm not going to boost it only because that's not really their job, but maybe they might listen to you anyway.
Okay. Come on, roll. Oh no, okay, that's good. I did awesome. I thought it was. I mistook the advantage. I screwed that up with a success, but I got 3 successes and 1 triumph.
Holy shit. Okay, so the they look, say, Roger, Roger, and they walk over to the. Where do you position yourself while they go up onto the ship?
I guess we don't want to go in it right now until the other guy goes up, so we don't run into him. But nearby, like we're doing maintenance on the rear of the ship or something.
Okay, so you're pretending to sort of work on things. You hear from somewhere inside this very angry reptilian voice, and someone comes stalking down. You can see from behind. This is a Trandoshan that stands probably about close to 7 feet tall. It stomps down the thing and goes stomping off in another direction. And you can see it looks like there's a fresh dent on the security droid. So you see the security droid goes back into place, and the one security droid says to the other one, "Next time you're carrying the message." But you see Captain Trex goes stomping off back into town away from the Crate Fang.
Okay, so we run on the ship. Pash goes to the cockpit, and Vex goes to the engine room or wherever he needs to be.
Nice. So you see, minus the stormtroopers blasting away, you see a scene very much like this.
Nice. And some women yelling at me over the comms, I guess.
The Crate Fang thrums around you as its engines power up, lifting through the hangar bay doors and into the bright sunlight of the Tatooine sky. Soon, Mos Shuta vanishes behind you as you race out over the Dune Sea and climb towards outer space. Suddenly, an alert klaxon blares. As you leave Tatooine's atmosphere, several spherical starfighters with distinctive hexagonal wing assemblies appear on the ship's scanners, screaming in on an intercept course. TIE fighters! The starfighters shoot past, laser cannons blazing, and sparks fly from a console in the cockpit. You've been hit! You're not clear of this planet's gravity well yet, and can't jump to light speed without the hyperspace reactor igniter installed. You have to deal with these TIE fighters first. So, here's the way that starship combat works. On a ship this size, there are really 3 different roles or different places that the players can occupy. You can be a gunner, you can be an engineer, or you can be a pilot. Now,
okay, so I'll put it down to Pash though. So he'll be the pilot, and Vex will be busy fixing that hyperdrive.
Well, it turns out there's actually an astromech droid on here. To strike that, Vex is able to put the thing in, and what you need is essentially, as soon as these TIE fighters came into view, it's about 6 rounds until the HMRI is warmed up, and then you're free to jump to hyperspace.
Okay.
Okay.
So let me take a look here.
So here's the actions that you can take. A gunner can attack with a starship weapon as an action. It can aim, just like in other things, as a maneuver. An engineer can use an action to do damage control. You make a mechanics check, depending on how damaged the vehicle is, and you could for each success on it, you can heal 1 strain or 1 hull trauma. Because weapon or vehicles have hull trauma and strain the same way that you have wounds and strain. They can also, so that's damage control. They can also, as an action, try and optimize the systems to grant a boost to either the next pilot check or the next gunnery check.
Okay.
Pilots can use evasive maneuvers or stay on target. What these 2 maneuvers do is essentially either boost the difficulty of being hit and hitting, or make it easier to hit and easier to be hit. So each one of them boosts the chance, makes it harder, like boosts the difficulty. The other one boosts the skill. And that works on people targeting you and you targeting. Now that may sound shitty, but there's an action you can take, which is gain the advantage. The pilot of a starship, you want to maneuver to try and get in an optimal position. If you are successful, then you don't suffer the penalty from whatever maneuver you took. So for instance, if you took evasive maneuvers and you successfully gained the advantage, that means that they suffer a penalty to hit you, but you don't suffer any penalties to hit them.
Okay.
Okay? So, what do you want to do? Oh, and here's the other stuff you should know. The Crate Fang, it has a handling of -1, which would give you 1 black die, but because of your piloting thing, the Starship Jockey, you can ignore that, so there's no penalty.
Okay.
The Crate Fang also has deflector shields, which give 1 black die to targets, attackers targeting you.
Yeah.
It has an armor of 3, a hull trauma of 22, or a trauma threshold of 22, and a strain threshold of 14. Now, the other thing you can do, the starships can experience strain just like people can. And you can get an extra maneuver out of that, or if you roll threats, if you on your roll, you roll some of those Imperial symbols.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I've got a gunner and I've got a pilot, and I'm just before we start this, I'm just going to grab a drink. I'll be right back.
Sure. I'm going to go to the washroom quickly then, and then we will have a dogfight. Okay, bring you back. Ooh. Hey, you back?
Yeah, sorry.
I want to show you. This is for this fight. I want to show you the. This is the actual like dice rolling app.
Oh, okay, cool.
Listen.
Dice.
There's lights. I mean, you set different sounds. I got it to lightsaber sounds.
You got the pew 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 sounds for space battles?
Sorry. Oh yeah. No, I don't. I really. If yeah, I need to get that. Okay, so what I need you to do is make a just a raw piloting check to see who goes first.
Okay.
And just like the Stormtroopers, these guys are minions. There are 2 TIE fighters screaming down at you. I only rolled 1 success.
Okay.
I did get 3 advantage, though.
Who has 3 advantage?
Well, I rolled 1 success and 3 advantage, but remember, on it's a piloting check to determine initiative. Advantage is only used to tie break to determine initiative.
Okay, I got 1 success and 2 advantages.
1 success and 2 advantage. Okay, so he got 3, which means the TIE fighters are going first.
Okay.
Okay, so the TIE fighters come screaming in, and they got 1 success, but 2 threat, which. I'm going to say is what do you call it? So the 2 of them kind of come screaming in at you. They open fire. I got 1 success, which means you take 7 points of damage. But remember to subtract your armor from that. So they and hits your the deflector shield. The crate fang buckles, sparks fly out. But they have put themselves in a position. You're able to turn quickly, so. They will have another black die when they attack you next turn. So you've got a good position on them. Your turn. And again, your PCs can act in whatever order you want.
Okay, so they have, because of that, they have like 1 black die because they're disadvantaged, right?
For the next round, they'll have another black die. They also get a black die because of your deflector shields.
Okay, so
is a 1.
Okay, so if I do an evasive maneuver, that would apply more black dice. Or if I
Evasive maneuvers upgrade the difficulty.
Okay.
Yep. Stay on target improves the skill chance of all attacks. The evasive maneuvers improves the difficulty. And then if you gain the advantage, it allows you to do evasive maneuvers without suffering a penalty yourself. The penalty to hit.
Okay, so I will, because they seem to be not positioned well, I'll try and get them in my sights, or help Vex get them in his sights and stay on target.
Cool. So, okay, then you don't need to worry about gain the advantage, because gain the advantage only works with evasive actions. Stay on target is kind of like we're coming straight in at the target.
Okay.
Okay, so then for what that does mean is Vex can make a gunnery check, and he gets to he can aim as a maneuver.
Okay.
And he gains they have 0 deflector shields, so you don't need to worry about that. And he gains blue die from aiming. So blue die from aiming, and upgrade his gunnery. His gunnery is
2 green.
2 green, so it becomes 1 yellow, 1 green.
So 1 yellow, 1 green, and then he's got the blue dice advantage for aiming.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
And difficulty is 2 purple.
2 purple.
Average.
Okay. Oh, he misses. He's got 3 advantages but no successes.
Okay. Well, what you could do, remember, 3 advantage is still pretty good. You could gain +1 defense until the start of your next turn. So maybe, so maybe you're firing at them. That means they've got 3 black die.
Okay, so advantage still counts. Even if I fail, it still counts.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, advantage and threat is your sort of quality of success.
Okay.
Your successes and failures determines whether you succeed or not. The other things add some other quality to it. So in this case, what you could do is you're firing, but what they've done is they've gone out of position. So they're in just a really shitty, it's going to be an easy thing to avoid for Pash next turn. So, okay, so top of the round, it's their turn. Then, okay, so they get to, I'll use my thing here again. Oop, no, it just fucking sealed up. There we go. I need to add 2 more black die. Let's see how they do here. I got 1 success and 1 advantage. So, in spite of all that stuff, they got more out of Imperial Flight School than what Pash did. They managed to kind of, form back up, and then when you think they're completely out of position, they suddenly turn and arc back in, and there's blaster fire that hits you. You take another 7 points of damage, and they've set themselves up for. Yeah, and that's it. There's nothing else they can do with that, really, that 1 point. However, we are in round 2 now, which means there are 5 more rounds, and you can jump to hyperspace.
I know, I started tracking.
Oh, nice. Yeah, awesome. Okay, what are you doing? And who's going first?
Pash will probably he'll try evasive maneuvers.
Okay. So, and then he's going to try and gain the advantage as well?
Yes. Or are they separate, or is that one roll?
Evasive maneuvers is a maneuver. That's the thing that makes both you hard to hit and them hard to be hit. You're just kind of, because you're rear, you know? What game?
Okay, and if I gain the advantage, it nullifies that, right?
Yeah, it nullifies it for you.
Okay.
So you're harder to hit, but you don't have a difficulty. That's the thing. So what it is it is a hard check. So it is 3 purple. It is a piloting check against 3 purple.
Okay, my piloting is.
This, I'll throw out there too. This is another one of those things where if it was appropriate, or if there was some way to kind of add cool narration to it, you could gain a bonus.
Okay.
I can't think of anything in space.
And we're not if there was an asteroid field or something, but we're just in the open, so straight roll. 2 successes, but 1 threat.
Okay, so you're able to, rank this thing into position. So they aren't going to get they're going to suffer a disadvantage to hit you, but you've got yourself on enough of a line so that Vex can hit it. Unfortunately, that's too much strain on this. You hit this, and the old freighter doesn't want to respond that way. You suffer 1 point of stress or strain.
Okay.
Not you personally, the ship does.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. So then it is Vex's turn.
Okay. How does he move? How do I try and get? How did Pash try and get advantage, or is that worked into the same role as evasive?
How did Pash try to get?
Like he was going to try and get advantage as well.
Okay, what that does, what it means is that remember when you do evasive maneuvers. It raises the difficulty of all gunnery checks. So purples become one purple becomes a red, as if at the dark side point, right?
Right. So what do I need? What do I need to do to gain advantage to nullify that?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. You've done that. But your piloting check, you succeeded, but you got a threat.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, you did gain the advantage. So on Vex's attack, he doesn't suffer that increased difficulty.
Okay.
It's just that because you rolled a threat, that means you suffered 1 strain by doing that.
Okay.
Okay. And if you had an engineer, that person could try and repair that strain quite easily.
Okay.
Okay. So what is Vex doing?
Okay, he will aim and then take a shot.
Okay, go ahead.
What's the difficulty?
Same thing. Two purple. Okay. For shooting. So it'll be 2 purple. If he's aiming, he gets a blue, and then it's just his gunnery.
2 green. Okay.
Yeah.
He got a failure, but 3 advantages.
Nice. Okay.
So what's the difference between saying not getting a success or not getting any successes or failures and 1 failure?
If you fail, you fail. It's not really so much like qualities of failure. It's when you roll threat. That's when it's a problem.
Okay, but we'll say what's the difference of just not rolling a success? Say you got 0. What's the difference between 0 successes or failures and a failure?
Well, if you fail, you fail. That's a binary thing.
Okay.
Success is a similar thing. You succeed or you fail. Your quality of success is determined by the advantage or the threat.
Okay, but what if you get neither? Say like last time where I got an advantage, but neither failure or success.
Then you fail.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fail. You need 1 success, and then for combat, the successes at however many successes you get, they're added to your damage.
Right. So getting no successes, like getting nothing, is the same as getting a failure, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a positive obligation to get a success.
Okay.
Okay, so you got 3 advantage, you said?
Yes.
And it's awesome. You know what? Do you want to get that advantage or the gain +1 to your defense again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So once again, you've got that. So next round. So 4 rounds until hyperspace. Or until light speed. So they have 2 black die this turn. And 2 difficulty. So once again, the TIE fighters come screaming in. Unfortunately, your lightsabers are going off like crazy. So they they come screaming in again, and the blasters fire, but you're able to keep going. And you know what? I fucked up because they should have had increased difficulty. So, but what I'll do is I'll add another strain for my fuck up. Basically, the 2 of them come together, and their wings kind of, because they're trying to keep on target for against the Pasha's incredible piloting. They manage to skip against each other, and they take a little bit of damage each. Where's their hull trauma threshold? Okay, so they've each taken 2 points of damage. They only have a hull trauma threshold of 6. When they take 6, they go kablooey. So your turn now. What are you doing? I'm going to adjust my dice pool now. If you're doing the evasive maneuvers again, I can adjust my dice pool.
Yeah, okay, I will shoot for evasive maneuvers.
Okay.
So difficulty is 3.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, remember, that's not, that is the gain the advantage. Evasive maneuvers you get for free. Just what gain the advantage gives you is that you don't suffer that penalty as well.
Right, so I'm going to make that, sorry. Okay, I get it now. I always thought I was making an evasive maneuver, but that's just automatic, and then I make a...
Yeah, like anyone can just kind of like, shoot the thing around left and right and whatever. That's the maneuver. What the gain the advantage is using your piloting skill to keep yourself so that you can, like, in the midst of doing all that crazy evasive stuff, you're lining up shots for your gunners.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for the advantage again.
Okay. Go ahead and make a piloting check. Hard against hard.
I got 1 success and 1 threat.
Okay, so once again, you're succeeding, but the maneuvers are just, the Crate Fang is not used to your style of flying, so it takes another point of strain.
Okay.
So more kind of, you can hear some squealing from maybe like the astromech or whatever that I mentioned before. It kind of goes, flies back and then falls down into the hold. And you're successful though. Okay, and then for Vex, does you want to shoot?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so that's difficulty of
2.
2. Okay, and he's going to aim again.
Yep.
And he hit this time.
Nice.
Got 2 successes, but 1 threat.
Okay, so he's what do you call it? In the thing, kind of, he's been flying or firing away with the blaster cannons. It's essentially the ones that from A New Hope, where he's like they're mounted in the top or the bottom, and he's kind of the quad cannons are firing away, and he's going back and forth. And you're kind of shouting up at Pash as you're doing this. You connect with 1. You got 2 successes. Damage is 6. So that's plus to your 2 successes is 8 damage. One of the TIE fighters explodes in a little blossom of flame. Unfortunately, you were yelling up, to the left. And Pash did that, and once again, it suffered more strain. So 1 more point of strain. Okay. So there's only 1 TIE fighter left, and there are 3 rounds till light speed. Okay, so the TIE fighters.
Oh, that's what I noticed too in New Hope. They moved from they moved from using hyperspace back to light speed.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they started using lights, and I remember because they only did that in episode 3, and then they started talking about jumping to hyperspace.
Oh, okay.
And then they moved back in this one. I caught light speed.
Yeah, I did not catch that.
Which I'm thinking that would take a long time to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Or it's a really compact galaxy.
Exactly. Okay, so sorry, I'm just going to moderate. Because, remember, they're minions. So because there is 1 less now, that means their skill goes down. Their chance of hitting you goes down. So, difficulty goes up. Did you get an advantage again? No, you got a threat on your last evasive maneuvers one, or gain the advantage. Okay, so top of the round, the single TIE fighter left attacks. Oh, he does not succeed, but he gets 4 advantage on it. So what I'm going to say is, as you're as you're sort of positioning, this last one is really mad. It's kind of can't get itself in position for you. It's firing away, and it doesn't incur any actual damage on you. But one of the blaster bolts skips across the hull, and somehow it kind of puts too much power, or rather, it cuts back a bit of the power, so it will add 1 more round to the time required to get the thing warmed up before you can hit hyperspace.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So then it is your turn. What are you doing? Vex yells up, another hit like that, and it's going to blow the HPMI. HMRI. I keep changing the acronym.
Yeah. It's all good. I knew what you were talking about.
Okay. So what are you going to do?
Maybe, okay, Pasha's going to get cocky and try and line the target up. We've only got one TIE fighter left.
Awesome. So what it does is then Vex will be making, he gets a boost with his attack, and it's 1 yellow, 1 green against 2 red, or 2 purple, sorry.
And is there any purpose of getting the advantage?
I'm going to point out that you've still got a light side point left.
Oh, right. I did forget about that, and I will use that.
Okay. So I got 2 dark side points now.
Okay. And then I've got 2 yellow and 1 blue.
Yes, that's right. Against 2 purple.
Okay. Come on. Big money. Oh, no big money.
What happened?
2 advantages and no successes.
Oh, so you're firing kind of all around this thing. 2 advantages. What you could do is you give you can give a black die to the targeted thing. So you give a black die to its next check. You could give a blue die to an allied character's next check, so to the piloting check.
Okay.
So which of those 2 would you like?
I will give it a disadvantage to their next check.
Okay. So now top around. It is now once again 3 more rounds till hyperspace. It's just the 1 left. So it's 1 black for your deflector, 1 black for your thing, and 3 green and 2 purple. Oh, but you're staying on target, so it gets to upgrade one of its greens. So that is 1. Holy shit! It got way too cocky. I did get 1 success, but I got 2 threat. Now, because it's a minion, that means it suffers strain as wounds. So this thing kind of like got it on. It fires its blasters at you. You take another 7 points of damage as it hits the hull. But then at that, so Pash, you look to the side for you. You look at sort of one of the instrumentation as it blows out. You're like, oh god. You look up and there's a big Corellian freighter that's coming in, and you go wah, and you pull to the side and kind of arc past it. The TIE fighter is so excited about getting the hit on you. It's like, and you can see like the interior of the cockpit with the black helmeted Imperial TIE fighter pilot slams into the side of the, he kind of screams, and then the TIE fighter, boom, explodes as it slams into the side of the Corvette, or the freighter, really doing nothing other than cosmetic damage to the freighter. Okay, it is 2 rounds until hyperspace, and you can see at basically a long range, there are 2 more TIE fighters coming in. What are you going to do? They're spending all their actions. They're spending 2 maneuvers to close from long to short range.
I keep that distance by using my maneuvers to go for speed.
Sure. What you can do is you can make a piloting check for something called, like the options, I should say, the options I gave you for actions you can take, that's in the basic game. Like there's more you can do in the full game. Just for the purpose of, and there's more, a little bit more complexity to like the relative size and speed of starships. Yeah, but if you bear with me a second here, I will tell you what skill you need to use to get the F away from this thing. There we go. You know what I'll do? Actually, what I'll just say, Brent, is their piloting is a with 2 of them is 2 green and 1 yellow. So why don't I just make it a contested roll? It's Pash trying to keep at range from these guys and prevent them from catching them for 2 rounds. So Okay, so first round, why don't you make make a piloting check against 2 purple, 1 red. That's you trying to outrun the.
Okay, so it's like an even match. My 2 green and a yellow versus their red and 2 purple.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
And unfortunately, you know what? I'm going to use one of those dark side points.
Oh, I just rolled a success. Damn it.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to make you re-roll. So it is 2 reds, 1 purple as difficulty. How'd you do?
Shitty. 1 failure and 2 threat.
Okay, so you take 2 more strain as they close in. They manage to close the distance. This thing maneuvers like a freighter, which I guess it kind of is. Okay, so on their round, they've managed to close to short. They're going to, they're going to try and, so you got only 1 round left until light speed. They're going to open fire. Yeah. So let's see, here's 2 and 1. I will point out you've got a light speed, a light side point if you want to increase the difficulty of the attack against you.
Yeah, because I only got 1 round left. I will do that. Okay.
So that means they've got 1 black for your deflector, a red and a purple for the difficulty, and their skills. So here we go. Wah, 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 wah. We got 1, 2 failures, which cancels my successes, and 1, 2. Yeah, they do terrible. Essentially, they got 0 on everything. Everything netted out. I've got 2 advantages, which are nullified by my 2 threats. I got 2 successes. Oh, no, I got 1 extra success. So you take 5 points of damage.
Ouch.
Another thing shorts out and more. There's steam now filling up the engine room. You're hoping it's not toxic. And what are you doing this round?
Evasive maneuvers.
Okay. So, evasive maneuvers. And then you, what do you call it? The 2 TIE fighters kind of come in. They can see that the Crate Fang is beginning to sort of, shudder a bit with all the damage it's taken. What's your total hull trauma you've taken?
Damage, 14 points of hull damage and 5 strain. But Vex didn't have an action. I wonder if he could use his guns to try and disrupt them as they're coming in, just to scatter them.
We'll make a gunnery check, and if he gets advantages, I'll let him spend it on that.
Okay, difficulty of 2.
It is, yes.
Okay. 1 success and 1 advantage.
Nice. That's good enough. That'll be enough to. Effectively, what it is, he's not scattering them, but you're helping Pash get into maneuver, so you can give the boost die to him. But that actually won't be necessary because the TIE fighters kind of are now on an attack run. They're lining up. They're getting ready. You can see the little target reticles going around, and then it kind of is flashing on yours. Their thumbs go to the triggers, and then Vex kind of finally sees on the readout that he's been keeping with him that Pash sees it, that the light speed, the little toggle finally is lit up. He hits it, and the light stars all stream behind you, and pow! You're off into light speed. The 2 TIE fighters fire at empty space. The scene cuts to the bridge of a frigate, and we see dressed in Imperial Navy grays. There is a older man, probably in his 50s. Who stars out at the starfield ahead of him. A guy dressed in a junior officer's uniform walks up to him and says, Captain Herkin, the pilots have reported that the Crate Fang jumped to hyperspace, or jumped to light speed. He says, quiet enough under his breath, a curse, a single word, that only he could hear. Pash. The commander says, or the junior officer says, "Sorry, sir." He says, turns back in a crisp and quite clearly articulate way, says, "Track their trajectory. I want that freighter found." He turns on his heel and storms off towards the, I guess, off the bridge. And then we have the kind of iris cut to the Star Wars theme song. And we bring our session to a close.
Cool.
So, what are your impressions? What do you think?
Fun system. I'm glad I had the dice calculator.
Yep.
How do you more fun system than like the D20 trying to do Star Wars? I think it's up there with the. We didn't really play enough Savage Worlds, but I think it'd be somewhere in there, but more tweaked towards Star Wars a bit.
Absolutely. One of the things where I think it has an advantage over Savage Worlds, especially for simulating Star Wars, is that it doesn't have that wonky exploding die thing, and it doesn't have the inherent like shitty. I don't know, the scaling dice in Savage Worlds are just it. I think it's a problem. There's not enough way to expand out in Savage Worlds. To give you an idea, so the way you make a character in Star Wars is you pick a species, you pick a career, and then you pick a specialization. There are 8 species and 8 careers in each book, and there are 3 specializations for each of them. There's an overlap of, I believe, about 4 species, and then on top of that, you pick motivations for your character. You pick, depending on which game you're playing with, there are sub-mechanics for obligation in Edge of Empire. So like and that can be things like a life debt, an addiction, a debt. It's something that comes up, like a complication that comes up in play. In Age of Rebellion, it is duty. It's some aspect of duty to the rebellion. And in Force and Destiny, you have morality to track. Like one of the things we did, if you have a force wielding character, what you do when you use your force powers is you roll your force die. And just like when we rolled the Destiny pool before, the force die has white and black dice. That's light side and dark side. So when you draw on the force, you'll get points that you can use to fuel your powers. But if it's a dark side point and your light side character, you can take what's called a conflict. It's something that may affect your overall path towards the light or the dark side. When you make your character 2, like your specialty gives you a talent tree that looks a lot like this.
Okay.
Okay. Top tier costs 5 points, and then 10 points, 15 points, 20, and 25, depending on how far down you go in the tier. You can take other talent trees as well once you've as you gain experience points, not only from your own career but from any career. So you pretty much have unlimited ability to customize your character, and with the suggested, because like a lot of the early tier things and your lower points, your lower ability scores and skills or ranks and skills cost relatively cheap. Like your abilities, let's see here, to get a rank in ability costs you, I think it's 5 times the rank you're purchasing. And if it's a career skill, if it's not a career skill, it's 5 times the rank you're purchasing plus 5. Raising an ability, I believe, is 10 times what you're raising it to. And you get between 10 and 25 XP per session. So just like in Iron Kingdoms, early on, you're raising shit every session. Like after every session, you're going to have enough points to make some meaningful changes to your character. The characters that we played with tonight are not starting characters. Starting characters have more stuff. This just had, I think because they wanted to allow you to walk your way slowly into like seeing all the different things.
Okay. Yeah,
So
that's cool. The dice mechanic was a bit, I guess, complicated at first. I was happy I had the online calculator.
yeah,
It's easier that way.
well,
Just because of the, like all the different types of dice you could be rolling, and
yeah,
that they sort of can counteract each other's dice or like results.
yeah.
Yeah,
It can. I can tell you, it is a lot of fun. Actually, it is fun rolling the dice, and I hope you'll enjoy it because that's what's showing up for your belated Christmas present.
oh, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so you got a set that'll be showing up on the 29th.
Nice. I appreciate that. That
No, you're
is.
welcome. It's you know what I know that like you like me, like we've played every version of the Star Wars role playing game, right? Um, One cool thing about this that I only noticed the other day, the lead designer on this is the same guy who has been a lead designer on every edition of the Star Wars game.
Really?
Yep.
Going
So
back to fair, right?
this guy's been with the game since its West End days, and it it's the very cool thing is it feels very much like a like for one thing, the dice pool. When I first saw like when the dice mechanic, at first I thought, it's a real fucking it's a gimmicky thing trying to get us to buy special dice and blah blah blah. In play though, like those combat because of the addition of advantage and being able to end threat and being able to use it to to modify the or trying to come up with how that modifies the scene is really fucking cool. And like, how do the combats feel? They feel like Star Wars?
The only thing is, I felt sort of like I rolled too well in a couple situations, and I screwed you over by bypassing conflicts.
No, but that's the whole point, though. You got through the session in about the same length of time that Jeff did. Jeff did because it turned out Jeff actually deceived. He used deceit as well. But what he said was that he was basically he was working for Captain Trax.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and when I rolled to see what his background with Bryn was, he got advantage on it. So it was a positive relationship. So he's like, hey, yeah, I'm just in. I'm hired out with so and so. Timo has me doing this stuff. She's like, okay, yeah, no problem. I'll take the docking clamps off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So like it didn't, and but I mean, like that's the thing with Star Wars, right? Like it shouldn't feel like you need to fight. There's plenty of opportunities for combat in it, and plenty of opportunities to have blasters and shit like that. But it gets through it pretty quickly.
Yeah, like I felt like I worked with a good roll. I took myself out of that possible conflict at the control center, and then again at the starship by avoiding the two droids and
Tracks.
Thrask.
Yeah, but
I also made quick work of the stormtroopers with a really good roll.
you did, but that's again.
So did it sort of like did you feel like that you're from your running it that I like was like destroying your challenges and they weren't really
Not at all, because that's because here's the thing is that like just like in Star Wars, right, or like in Clone Wars, the cartoon or whatever, you like if this was an ongoing campaign, Bryn would be fucking furious at you for when she got your message and found out what you did. The Imperials would be further frustrated because you did that thing to the Lambda shuttle, and Trax would be out for fucking blood because he's a bounty hunter and you stole his ship. And Timo would be out for you as well, who was just sort of the backstory. So even though like there's immediate success there, that's shit that easily I'm like, all right, that's fine. It's shit that adds to the story because it's gonna add further complications down the road, right? And as for the things like remember that you got hit by the stormtroopers for 10 or 11 points of damage with each hit. So you couldn't take a lot of hits from those guys as it was. It's good that you took them down because that's the way it's supposed to go. They're stormtroopers. They're supposed to be like shit, and then get them out of the fight. And also like that was just too cool of a narration to think of encounters like that as okay, this is a long combat thing, so this is going to take X amount of the session. I didn't feel at all like it was like, oh God, well, I had planned that to take 45 minutes or an hour or whatever. I love that the combats in this are quick and exciting, I think, because I love improving. Like, it's really great to be able to have to come up with what's happening and the reason things aren't working out, or the reason things are working out so well.
Yeah. I was worried that, like, to use an analogy, that say like playing Pathfinder and your big bad boss that you had like customed out, and we just took him out in like 3 rounds.
Not at all. No. That's the thing with Trax. Like, it's cool if like you could have fought Trax, you could have fought everyone at the security station, you could have fought all the Stormtroopers. But honestly, like, for these characters, that's a way more interesting result. And I think what it allows us to do too is you can kind of have your cake and eat it too. We can have the role-playing heavy, cool stuff that we like in games like Iron Kingdoms and whatever, and still have, kind of let the scene play out. If it turns out that, like, oh my God, we're getting our ass kicked by these Stormtroopers, we got to get the fuck out of here, then the dice, it sort of lets the dice fall where it may. So the story is a little unpredictable in that sense. And I really, you rolled way less threats than what Jeff did. Jeff had a lot of results in his where it was, failure with some advantage, or success with threats. So like when, sorry?
Did he play the same 2 characters?
Actually, he did. He picked the same 2 characters. It's what do you call it? So like in his thing, one of the times I rolled like 3 advantages for the Stormtroopers, but they missed. And what I ruled that was, first off, what I ruled was he made an attack and he succeeded, but he rolled like 2 threats. So what I said that was he was shooting at the Stormtroopers, and he hit one of them with it, but the other one he hit the stand of this Twi'lek bounty, or he hit right near this Twi'lek bounty hunter who's like, "You son of a!" And suddenly he had a bounty hunter who was involved with the fight as well. And then when the Stormtroopers were returning fire, they missed, but they got advantage. So what I had them do is a tower exploded nearby, and it kind of and fell down and sort of blocked their one route of escape. So they were sort of, and that's the cool thing with it is because of the abstracted ranges, it really makes it much more of a narrative kind of flow. Like, you guys could add a lot more to the to the scene without, like, the fact that you can always take cover, and gain with a maneuver and gain add a black to the opposing attacks. That really, I think, gives you lots of excuses to try and find narrative ways to take advantage of that in the combat, which is, so it's not just me describing the finer details of things, it's you guys doing that shit too, right?
Yeah.
So, it's also, you guys are supposed to be, your heroes. So a nemesis would be someone who's sort of on par or better than you. There is a really cool mechanic if you want to make someone real scary, like a Darth Vader, or like someone who in the story is supposed to be a significant threat. There's an ability that NPCs can get called adversary. And however many levels of adversary are in it, it automatically ratchets up the difficulty of all attacks against them by however many ranks. So like, if you were fighting, let's say it was Darth Vader, let's say Darth Vader has an adversary 2, and he was in one of those TIE fighters that was following you. Well, attacks against him would not be against 2 purples, they'd be against 2 reds.
Well, okay.
Right? So there's ways within the game, without making the numbers crazy high or crazy low, for you to still have that stuff. And it appears that, well, okay, let me ask you this. How did the Starship combat feel?
That was fun.
Not super quick.
I thought it was really good. I have a hard time it was fun. I can't really give you much comparison because we don't do a lot of vehicular combat, but I thought it was really cool, and I liked it, and it sort of, And I like how it has room for multiple roles, sort of like Star Trek did. It was really
Yeah.
fun in Star Trek. That game surprised me, Star Trek. I didn't think I'd have much fun, but it was really cool to have that collaborative approach to running a ship. And I
Yeah.
think Star Wars, if you had a gunner, an engineer, and a pilot, or even multiple gunners, you could really work together as a group, kind of similar.
Well, that's the cool thing with like there's four characters who are included in it. If you had four characters, someone would be in each of the roles, and there would be more TIE fighters. There would be four TIE fighters instead of just two. So what you would be doing is like both gunners would have shit to do each round. The pilot's doing his thing, and the engineer would be running around trying to manage the strain that everyone's generating with their threat results, and dealing with the damage that's coming in from the TIE fighters.
Cool. So how are these three? Okay, so there's three books out.
Yep.
Like three base books, but with different like aspects.
Yep. Each of them is a standalone game, technically, but they're all compatible, and they all sort of have their own thematic space. So, like for instance, the Edge of Empire. Sorry.
Right.
So
that means like they're like they'd have like the repeat. Each book would have the same combat rules and like stuff like that in them.
Yeah, same combat rules, same basic equipment, like the personal equipment, like armor and whatever. Things that are different are the careers are different in each. The species are different in each. The vehicles and the adversaries and the the party mechanic, like the duty, obligation, what's the other one? Morality. Those are the different mechanics from each of the games. And there's rules for using multiple things. So if you're playing a party like say the classic Star Wars party, Han has an obligation to Jabba. Leia has a duty to the rebellion in some that comes up in different ways. And Luke has morality, because he's trying to balance his decisions and his actions with being and use of the Force to strive to being a light side practitioner rather than falling to the dark side. And on top of that, you have motivations, you have backstory and whatnot, and these things all play into extra XP that you can gain each session. So the careers for instance, careers in Edge of Empire are bounty hunter, colonist, explorer, hired gun, smuggler, technician, and technician. And then each of those, like smugglers' 3 talent trees are pilot, scoundrel, thief. And each of those then gives you different talents that you can take, that you can purchase as you go. You can go down your talent tree, and the deeper you get, the cooler the abilities get. Like for instance, the master pilot. This is a 25-point pilot talent. Once per round, when piloting a starship, you may suffer 2 strain to perform any action as a maneuver.
Nice. So you can like shoot twice or.
Yeah. And those are the kind of, and like as you get to that point, there's things that stack along. There's some things you can take multiple times. The way that force powers are set up, you have your like each of the different force using careers has 3 specializations, and then in addition to those talent trees, you can purchase force talent trees, and those are things like heal harm or enhance or move or sense or foresee. And then your talent tree in that allows you to customize it in terms of like how precise it is, how strong it is, how far away you can use it, and then other neat things that are specialized within it. Like it's when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, this is fucking lame. It's like a video game where you got to tick off. But honestly, it's just like any game that requires prerequisites for certain things. Only it sets it out in a flowchart way. And then your career skills, the ones that you get for cheap, Some of them come from your career, and some of them come from your specialization. And then if you take more specializations, there's other things that are added to your career skills. And remember, if you purchasing a career skill is 5 times the rank. Purchasing rank in non-career skills is 5 times the rank you're getting plus 5.
Okay.
So it's more expensive. So sort of infinite variety, and then yeah, there's different ways to access the talent trees too. So like if there's a rank 5 one that you don't like, you pretty much can get to the other ones below it. It's just that it'll be an indirect route to get there.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just, you know, honestly, so there's that, and then there is the customizing of the weapons and the armor and the vehicles.
That's a very fun aspect that reminds me of like things like Shadowrun and stuff like that.
And it's in a fun, easy, and playable way too. Like it's yeah, it really feels, because it's the same. Like now that I realize it's the same designer who's on it, it feels like it's it benefits from all those earlier editions, because it takes all those ideas and then it's like, all right, we got to make a custom dice thing. What are we going to do with that? The combats in this so far, I've only run 2 sessions, and it's with pre-gen NPCs and not with custom-made characters. They felt like a ridiculous amount of fun to run. It feels really more like just kind of narrating our way through combat than it does feel like, I'm not having to crunch numbers in my head as much, because I can feel confident that I'll give you, advantage or disadvantage. Get a blue die, get a black die. It doesn't mean you're getting something good out of it. It means that there's a potential for good or potential for bad.
Yeah, it was a neat. I definitely want to play it some more, and I love Star Wars. Star Wars makes no sense, but it's really fun.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. Like I wanted to play, because I figured, fuck it. It's I've owned every other edition of Star Wars. I want to give this one a try. I think this captures the feel of Star Wars for me better than any of the other games did, and any of the other optional sort of reskinning games could as well. And I think that the reason I thought that you would like, setting aside the Star Wars aspect, that it's fun. I think that the ability, like the different amount of combos you can come up with for building characters by going to different talent trees and shit like that, would blow your mind.
I think I'm looking forward to checking out that book then when it comes. It'll be fun to read through. And
it's the dice, not the book.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, it's the dice. Yeah, I'm really sorry. It's not. You know what? Like the books themselves. This is the downside. The books themselves are ridiculously overpriced, especially because of the exchange rate with the Americans.
I'm told that the dice are awesome. And I've told probably I will pick up one of the books soon. I'm not quite sure which one yet.
Okay.
If I buy one, I have to buy all 3.
And that's the thing. Like you don't necessarily. Yeah, you don't. This is the thing, is you don't have to, unless you're an insane completist.
But then you're like the book you're reading, right? So if I get that one, but then I don't have Jedi, and then if I get the Jedi one, I don't have, like, it's not.
That's where like from the outset, I'm like, it's easy to see this as a bullshit marketing thing, because like the books they're putting out are splat books for, like, hey, here's some new equipment, here's some new specializations, and here's some new things. What you can find, Brent, is I'll send you, if you like. It doesn't have the information about the characters in it, but there's a character generator that someone put together that has everything in it.
Oh, okay, cool.
The way it stays accessible is that it doesn't have the rules for the different things in it. But actually, what I think I can do is it will be a really fucking easy thing for me to scan all of the descriptions of the talents, because they're only like 6 pages. So I can put together like a 30-page PDF, and you could have effectively, between the character generator and that, all the rules you would need. Okay,
cool. Hey, did you want to? Do you have all the West End books on a PDF?
I don't, but I have all the what do you call it? I have all the Wizards books.
Okay, because I didn't realize how many West End books there are. There's like tons of them.
There's
so just like for fluff, if you're interested,
because this is, like I said, because this is the same fucking guy. Each edition has taken all, like, especially the Saga edition has almost all the fluff from those earlier editions. It just boiled down versions. You know, so like, and that's where this again really fucking shines, because it has the like Saga. It introduced item customization in some of the source books later on, because they realized like, oh, people love being able to, you know, make their blaster a little more powerful, a little more accurate, or give it the whatever quality, like, you know, like that wide barrel thing, and whatever. I asked Jeff, like Jeff and I played this through, and he said he would really like to play this with a group. He said he enjoyed the hell out of it. He really liked the, you know, the combat and the whatnot. It's that he would like to build his own character. And that's what I, you know, however much if you enjoyed the system, I really think that you're gonna just go nuts over the character generation, because I'm slowly looking at the different things. I'm like, oh, that'd be a neat combo. Like, you know, a little bit of diplomat, a little bit of Jedi, or one of the Jedi or Force using classes. You know, like, you know, your character you made, the guy who was a sort of Jedi and
mix, yeah.
Yeah, like there's a couple ways you can build that, because before they release the Jedi book, each of the other ones has a like essentially a talent tree that anyone can get into that gives you the Force, and it's sort of like a Force dabbler. It's not as focused as the other ones, as the full Force classes, but allows you to sort of get a little bit of Force stuff if you're playing like Jedi or Luke in you know, New Hope or in Empire.
Right.
Yeah, so it's what I'll do then is, you know what, like I was planning on doing some scanning anyway. I'll scan those. That's probably the easiest way. Is I'll send you the link to the character generator, and I'll send you a PDF with the all the descriptions of the different talents from the different games.
Okay, cool. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, because I oh, and the light side, dark side points. How fucking cool is that?
That's interesting mechanic. It reminds me of old school Deadlands, where if you could get extra chips, but then the GM would also get extra chips.
Yeah, and it's neat. Like I love that. Like we talked about this before, but like with Shadowrun, right? One of the ways I was running 5th edition Shadowrun was by setting the threshold. You know, rather than rolling for the NPCs and then having the PCs roll, do it contested, I was just like, threshold is 3 or whatever the average successes were. Because the only thing that really matters is whether the players succeed, not whether the enemies succeed. So this takes that a step further, so that everything happens in the player's hands, right?
Yeah. There's one other system that does that. I think it's a Numara or whatever it's called. I haven't played it, but Chad was telling me about it.
I've heard really good things about that game as well too. This is currently my kind of my current obsession, because because it's, you know, Star Wars is out, and I have prepped so many campaigns to run with Saga, and then I always stall out because of the system. This is. Remember that Jedi's on the day of Order 66 thing I was going to run?
Yeah.
My thought is that I would like to have everyone try this, like everyone who's going to play in that, play through this intro adventure to get wrap their head around the dice pool. You see what I meant about like not having to write it down too? Like you're an expert in that dice mechanic now.
Yeah, it didn't take too long to figure out.
Mm-hmm. So... okay, so as we wrap, it's already, if you got to work tomorrow, it's midnight your time.
Yeah, that's early too. It sucks, but yeah, we should
wrap up the recording here. So for those listening at home, thanks so much for joining us and going to a galaxy far, far away. We will be sporadically gaming throughout the holidays, so if you join us during that time, we'll look forward to seeing you then. Until next time,